Okay, so we're diving deep into machine learning today, and
Oh,
it's
great.
already shaping so much of our world, whether or not we realize it.
Right.
And we're going to be going through all of these articles and resources that you've gathered to figure out just what machine learning is and why it
Yeah.
matters. Like, why should we care?
Well, what I think is fascinating about machine learning is that it's not just a tech buzzword.
Right.
It's really like this fundamental shift in how we solve problems, how we make decisions, and
Right.
even interact with the world around us.
Exactly. So to kick things off, let's answer that burning question.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is machine learning?
Right.
And I think a good place to start is by thinking about how we learn as humans.
Okay.
So imagine you're teaching a child to recognize different fruits.
Okay.
You show them an apple, you say, this is an apple. Then you show them a banana and say, this is a banana.
Right.
And over time, they start to pick up on the patterns, like
Yeah.
the shapes, the colors, and they can start to identify new fruits that they've never even seen before.
Right. Right.
Machine learning is kind of like that,
Yeah.
but on a much grander scale.
Okay.
So instead of explicitly programming every single rule and instruction,
Yeah.
we feed computers massive amounts of data
Right.
and let them discover the patterns themselves.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like the computer is teaching itself.
So essentially, it's like giving a computer a giant puzzle
Yeah.
and letting it figure out the picture without seeing the box,
That's a really great way to put it. And this ability to learn from data is what makes machine learning so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It allows computers to do things that were previously considered the exclusive domain of humans, like
Right.
recognizing images, understanding language, making complex decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But why should anyone care? Why is machine learning so important?
Well, for starters, it's already having a huge impact on our lives in ways we might not even realize. Think about those personalized recommendations you get on Netflix or Spotify,
Yeah.
or how your email inbox filters out spam. That's all powered by machine learning.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond convenience, too.
Okay.
Machine learning is being used in healthcare to diagnose diseases earlier, and more accurately, it's being used in finance to detect fraud, and in transportation to develop self-driving cars.
Yeah.
The possibilities are practically endless.
So it's almost like machine learning is this secret ingredient that's making everything around us
Yeah,
smarter, more efficient.
that's a great analogy. And what's even more exciting is that we're only just scratching the surface
Right.
of what machine learning can do as the field continues to evolve.
Yeah.
We can expect even more groundbreaking applications in the years to come.
Now, you mentioned earlier that machine learning is fundamentally different from traditional programming.
Mm-hmm.
Can you unpack that a bit more? What makes this approach so revolutionary?
Yeah, so in traditional programming, we have to explicitly define every single rule.
Right.
An instruction for the computer to follow, it's like writing a detailed recipe where every step has to be spelled out exactly.
Right.
But with machine learning, we're basically giving the computer the ingredients
Right.
and letting it figure out the recipe on its own.
Okay.
We provide the data and the desired outcome, and the computer uses algorithms to learn the patterns and rules that connect the two.
So instead of programming the how, we're programming the what.
Exactly. We're defining the goal and letting the machine figure out the best way to achieve it.
Right.
This makes machine learning incredibly powerful because it can adapt to new situations and solve problems that are just too complex or too nuanced
Right.
for humans to program manually.
It's like teaching a computer to fish instead of giving it a fish.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. So essentially, machine learning is all about empowering computers to learn and adapt on their own,
Mm-hmm.
which opens up like a whole new world of possibilities.
Precisely. And this shift from explicit programming to data-driven learning
Right.
is what's really driving the current AI revolution. It's enabling computers to tackle tasks that were once thought to be,
Right.
the exclusive domain of humans.
Mhm.
And this is just the beginning.
Okay, so we've established that machine learning is about teaching computers to learn from data. But how exactly does that learning process work?
Okay.
What's going on under the hood?
At the heart of machine learning are algorithms.
Okay.
You can think of an algorithm as a set of instructions or a recipe that the computer follows
Right.
to process data and make predictions or decisions.
Mhm.
And there are many different types of algorithms, each suited to different kinds of tasks and data.
Okay.
But they all share this common goal of learning from data and improving their performance over time.
So it's like having a toolbox full of different tools, each designed for a specific job.
Exactly. And choosing the right algorithm is crucial for building a successful machine learning model.
Right.
It's like picking the right tool for the job. You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a screw, would you?
Definitely not. So how do you know which algorithm to use for a particular problem?
Well, that's where the expertise of data scientists and machine learning engineers comes in.
Right.
They have the knowledge and experience to select the appropriate algorithms, fine-tune their parameters, and evaluate their performance.
So it's a bit of an art and a science.
It definitely is. It requires a deep understanding of both the technical aspects of machine learning and the specific problem you're trying to solve.
So it's not just about feeding data into a computer and hoping for the best.
Absolutely not. Building a successful machine learning model requires careful planning, preparation,
Right.
and expertise. It's a multi-step process that involves collecting and cleaning data, selecting the right algorithms, training and evaluating the model,
Right.
and deploying it into a real-world application.
And it's an iterative process, too, meaning that you're constantly refining and improving the model based on new data.
Yeah. And feedback. Exactly. So it's not a one-and-done situation.
Right.
It's about continuous learning and improvement.
Exactly. And that's what makes machine learning so dynamic and exciting.
Yes.
It's this constantly evolving field with new breakthroughs and advancements happening all the time.
Absolutely.
It sounds like there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
But before we dive deeper into the technical details, I'm curious,
Okay.
what are some of the key challenges and limitations of machine learning?
That's a great question. Well, machine learning has the potential to, revolutionize so many aspects of our lives.
Right.
It's important to remember that it's not a silver bullet.
Right.
There are still many challenges and limitations that
Yeah.
researchers are working to overcome.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges is the need for large amounts of high-quality data. Machine learning algorithms are only as good as the data they're trained on.
Right.
If the data is biased, incomplete, or inaccurate, the model will just reflect those flaws.
So it's like the saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. The quality of the data is paramount, and sometimes obtaining enough good quality data can be a major hurdle.
Right.
Another challenge is the interpretability of machine learning models.
Oh.
Often these models are so complex that it's difficult to understand how they arrive at their predictions or decisions.
Right.
This lack of transparency can be a problem, especially in sensitive applications like healthcare or finance,
Right.
where we need to be able to trust the model's output.
It's like having a black box that spits out answers without explaining its reasoning.
That's a good way to put it. And this issue of interpretability is a major area of research in machine learning. Scientists are developing new techniques to make these models more transparent and understandable.
Right.
And then there's the issue of bias, which we touched on earlier.
Right.
If the data used to train a machine learning model is biased, the model will just inherit those biases, which can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Yep.
This is a critical consideration, especially as machine learning is being used more and more in areas that directly impact people's lives.
Absolutely. It's essential to be aware of potential biases and to take steps to mitigate them.
Okay.
This includes, carefully curating and auditing training data, as well as developing algorithms that are more robust to bias.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about using it responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. We need to ensure that machine learning is used to benefit society as a whole
Right.
and not to perpetuate existing inequalities or create new ones.
It sounds like there's a lot to consider, both from a technical and ethical standpoint.
There definitely is. Machine learning is a powerful tool with the potential to do great things.
Right.
But it's important to wield it wisely and thoughtfully, and that requires a deep understanding of its capabilities, limitations, and potential pitfalls.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about what machine learning is, why it's important, and some of the challenges it faces. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'd like to zoom out a bit
Okay.
and talk about the bigger picture.
All right.
What are some of the ways that machine learning is transforming our world, and what can we expect to see in the future?
That's a great question. Machine learning is already having a profound impact on a wide range of industries and sectors.
Right.
And as the technology continues to advance, we can expect to see even more transformative changes in the years to come.
Right.
One area where machine learning is already making a big difference is healthcare.
Mm.
We touched on this earlier, but it's worth emphasizing again.
Right.
Machine learning algorithms are being used to analyze medical images,
Right.
detect diseases earlier, and develop personalized treatment plans.
Mm-hmm.
This is leading to better health outcomes for patients and is revolutionizing the way we approach healthcare.
It's like having a team of superpowered doctors
Yeah.
working around the clock to improve our health.
That's a great way to think about it. And machine learning is also playing a key role in scientific discovery.
Right.
It's helping scientists analyze massive data sets, identify patterns, and make new discoveries in fields like genomics, drug development, and materials science.
It's like accelerating the pace of scientific progress.
Exactly. And in the business world,
Right.
machine learning is being used to improve efficiency, optimize operations, and personalize customer experiences from marketing and sales to supply chain management and customer service. Machine learning is transforming the way businesses operate.
It's like having a secret weapon that gives businesses a competitive edge.
That's a good analogy. And these are just a few examples of how machine learning is impacting our world.
Right.
As the technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more groundbreaking applications in the years to come.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
I agree. It's a powerful technology with the potential to shape the future in profound ways.
Right.
And it's important that we understand its capabilities and limitations so that we can harness its power for good.
Well said. I think this is a good place to pause for now.
Okay.
We've laid a solid foundation for understanding what machine learning is and why it matters. In our next installment, we'll delve deeper into the different types of machine learning.
Okay.
And explore some of the fascinating ways that this technology is being used to solve real-world problems.
I'm already looking forward to it. This deep dive is proving to be incredibly insightful.
Me too. It's amazing to see how machine learning is changing the world around us.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so last time we left off talking about the future of machine learning and all the exciting possibilities it holds. But before we get too carried away with all that, I think it's important to take a step back and really understand the different ways that machine learning actually works.
That's a great point. It's easy to get lost in the hype, but understanding the different types of machine learning is crucial for appreciating its full potential.
Exactly. So let's break it down.
Okay.
Your research mentions 3 main categories. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning.
And each one has its own unique approach and application.
Like having different learning styles for computers.
That's a fantastic way to put it.
Yeah.
So let's start with supervised learning.
Okay.
What's the core concept here?
So imagine you're teaching a dog a new trick.
Okay.
Let's say shaking paws.
Okay.
You show the dog what to do. Give it a command.
Right.
And reward it with a treat when it performs the trick correctly.
Okay.
So you're providing clear instructions and feedback to guide the dog's learning.
Precisely. And supervised learning is very similar.
Okay.
We give the computer a set of labeled data, meaning data where the desired outcome is already known. For example, if we want to teach a computer to recognize images of cats and dogs, we would show it a bunch of pictures labeled as either cat or dog. The computer then uses this labeled data to learn the patterns and features that distinguish cats from dogs.
So it's like the computer is learning from a teacher who's providing the correct answers.
Exactly. And once the computer has learned from enough labeled examples, it can then start to classify new unlabeled images on its own.
Okay.
So if we show it a picture of a cat it's never seen before, it should be able to correctly identify it as a cat.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And supervised learning is incredibly versatile. It can be used for a wide range of tasks.
Oh, yeah.
Image classification, spam filtering, medical diagnosis, even predicting stock prices.
Wow, the applications are really diverse.
Yeah.
But what about unsupervised learning?
Yeah.
How is that different?
Well, unsupervised learning is more like giving the computer a puzzle without the picture on the box.
Right.
We give it data, but we don't provide any labels or desired outcomes.
Okay.
So the computer has to figure out the patterns and relationships on its own.
Exactly. It's like exploring a new city without a map.
Right.
You have to wander around, observe your surroundings, and try to make sense of things.
That sounds challenging.
Yeah.
How does the computer even know where to start?
Unsupervised learning algorithms use different techniques to find hidden structures in data.
Okay.
One common technique is clustering,
Okay.
where the algorithm groups similar data points together based on their shared characteristics.
Right.
For example, if you give an unsupervised learning algorithm a data set of customer purchase history, it might cluster customers into groups based on their buying habits.
So customers who frequently buy similar products would be grouped together.
Exactly.
Right.
And this can be really valuable for businesses because it allows them to target their marketing efforts more effectively and tailor their products and services to specific customer segments.
It's like having a personal shopper for every customer.
That's a great analogy. And unsupervised learning can also be used for things like anomaly detection, where the algorithm identifies data points that are unusual or unexpected. For example, it could be used to detect fraudulent transactions or identify faulty equipment in a manufacturing plant.
So it's like having a detective on the lookout for anything suspicious.
Exactly. And this ability to find hidden patterns and anomalies makes unsupervised learning a really powerful tool for data analysis and discovery.
Okay, so we've got supervised learning, where the computer learns from labeled examples. And unsupervised learning, where it discovers patterns on its own.
Right.
What about reinforcement learning? What's that all about?
Reinforcement learning is a bit different. It's based on the idea of learning through trial and error. And receiving rewards for good behavior.
Like training a dog with treats.
Exactly. In reinforcement learning, we give the computer an environment to interact with and a set of actions it can take. The computer then explores this environment, takes actions, and receives rewards or penalties based on its performance.
So the computer is basically playing a game and trying to maximize its score.
That's a good way to put it. And through this process of trial and error, the computer learns which actions lead to the best outcomes. And this type of learning is particularly well suited for tasks that involve sequential decision-making, like playing games, controlling robots, or navigating complex environments.
It's like teaching a computer to ride a bike. It takes practice and feedback to learn how to balance and steer.
Exactly. And reinforcement learning is a rapidly evolving field with exciting applications in areas like robotics, artificial intelligence, and even finance.
Wow, it sounds like each type of machine learning has its own unique strengths and applications.
They do. And often these different types of machine learning are combined to create even more powerful and sophisticated systems.
It's like having a team of specialists working together to solve a complex problem.
That's a great analogy. And this collaborative approach is what's driving the rapid advancement of the field of machine learning.
Okay, so we've covered the three main types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Before we move on, I'm curious. What are some of the common misconceptions or myths about machine learning?
That's a great question. There are definitely a few misconceptions floating around that we should address. One common misconception is that machine learning is the same as artificial intelligence.
I hear those terms used interchangeably all the time.
Yeah, but they're not actually the same thing. Machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence, which is a broader field that encompasses a wide range of techniques and approaches for creating intelligent systems.
So machine learning is one way to achieve artificial intelligence, but it's not the only way.
Exactly. And another misconception is that machine learning is going to take over the world and replace all human jobs.
I think a lot of people are worried about that.
It's understandable to have those concerns, but the reality is much more nuanced. Machine learning is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It all depends on how we choose to develop and deploy it. And while it's true that machine learning will likely automate some tasks that are currently done by humans, it will also create new opportunities and jobs in other areas.
So it's not necessarily about machines replacing humans, but rather about machines and humans working together more effectively.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that machine learning still has its limitations. It's not a magic bullet, and it can't solve every problem.
It's not going to suddenly make us all superhuman or solve all the world's problems overnight. But it is a powerful tool that has the potential to make a real difference in the world. And by understanding its capabilities, limitations, and potential pitfalls, we can harness its power for good.
Well said. And I think that's a good place to leave it for now. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, and we've gained a solid understanding
Yeah.
of what machine learning is,
Mm-hmm.
the different types of machine learning,
Right.
and even some of the common misconceptions about it.
Yeah.
And in our next installment,
Yeah.
we'll explore some of the fascinating ways machine learning is being used to solve real-world problems
Mm-hmm.
across a variety of industries.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm already eager to dive deeper into the applications of machine learning.
me too.
This deep dive is proving to be truly enlightening.
It is. It is.
Okay, so we spent a good amount of time unpacking what machine learning is.
Right.
But now I'm really curious to see how it's being used in the real world.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, all this talk about algorithms and data is cool and all, but it's the applications that really get me excited.
You're absolutely right. It's in the applications that we see machine learning's true potential come to life.
Right.
And the range of these applications is honestly mind-blowing.
It really is. My research mentions machine learning being used everywhere, from healthcare to self-driving cars. It's hard to even know where to begin.
Well, a good place to start might be with something you probably interact with every day. Personalized recommendations.
You mean those eerily accurate suggestions that pop up on my Netflix homepage?
Exactly. Streaming services like Netflix and Spotify are using machine learning to analyze your viewing and listening history to predict what you might enjoy watching or listening to next.
I have to admit, they're usually spot on. It's they know my taste better than I do.
That's the power of machine learning at work. It can uncover patterns and preferences that we might not even be consciously aware of.
Yeah.
And it's not just limited to entertainment either.
Okay.
Think about online shopping.
Oh, yeah, those customers who bought this also bought recommendations.
Exactly. E-commerce sites use machine learning to personalize your shopping experience by recommending products you might be interested in based on your past purchases, browsing history, and even demographic information.
It's like having a personal shopper who knows your style and preferences inside and out.
Right. And it makes the whole online shopping experience so much smoother and more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But machine learning isn't just about making our lives more convenient.
Right.
It's also being used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, like in healthcare.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we touched on this earlier, but I'm really interested to hear more about how machine learning is being used to improve healthcare outcomes.
One of the most promising areas is medical imaging.
Okay.
Machine learning algorithms can analyze images like X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs to detect abnormalities that might be missed by the human eye.
So it's like having a second set of eyes that are specifically trained to spot potential problems.
Exactly. And this can lead to earlier and more accurate diagnoses, which can be life-saving in many cases. But machine learning's impact on healthcare goes far beyond just image analysis.
What else is it being used for?
It's being used to develop personalized treatment plans based on a patient's genetic makeup, lifestyle factors, and medical history.
Wow.
It's also being used to predict patient outcomes, identify patients who are at risk of developing certain conditions, and even accelerate drug discovery.
It sounds like machine learning is revolutionizing the way we approach healthcare.
It absolutely is. And it's not just limited to healthcare either. Machine learning is being applied in countless other fields to solve complex problems and improve our lives.
Like what? Give me some more examples.
In finance, machine learning is being used to detect fraud, prevent money laundering, and make better investment decisions. In transportation, it's powering self-driving cars, optimizing traffic flow, and improving logistics. In manufacturing, it's being used to optimize production processes, predict equipment failures. Wow.
And improve product quality. And environmental science, it's helping us monitor climate change, predict natural disasters, and conserve resources.
It's truly remarkable how far-reaching the impact of machine learning is.
It really is. And as the field continues to evolve, we can expect even more groundbreaking applications in the years to come.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time.
I agree. It's a powerful technology with the potential to shape the future in profound ways.
Right.
And it's important that we stay informed about its capabilities and limitations. So that we can harness its power for good.
Well said. This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
It has.
Thanks for guiding me through it.
You're welcome.
I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of this fascinating field.
Good. Okay.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
Right.
There's always more to learn and discover in this rapidly evolving field.
That's what makes it so exciting. Who knows what amazing advancements we'll see in the years to come? Exactly. The future of machine learning is bright, and full of possibilities.
It is.
And it's up to all of us to ensure that this technology is used to create a better world for everyone.
I agree.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.